Hello, children. Today we will be continuing with the chapter 10th of History, 18th Century Political Formation. In our previous, we did what all happened during how did the Mughal Empire fall, what was the crisis that occurred during the later Mughals, and also how did the new states come up, the how in what way were the provinces divided, like the old Mughal provinces. Then we had the now we will be doing Vatan Jagirs of the Rajputs. Many Rajput kings, particularly those belonging to Amer and both Jodhpur, had served under the Mughals with distinction. They got considerable autonomy and thus were called Vatan Jagirs. So now, according to these points, what happened is there were two Rajput kings, basically those belonging to Amer. Amer is a place, and again Jodhpur is a place. So these two had served under the Mughals and were given very prominent or very important positions. And hence, as they were very loyal, so the Mughal emperors, they gave a little bit of freedom to these Rajputs, and hence these were called Vatan Jagirs. Basically, autonomy means a place where person can rule as an independent ruler, but he had to weigh his allegiance to the Mughal ruler. Allegiance means loyalty. Maratha expansion after the 1740s put a restriction on the growth of Rajput expansion. So what happened when the Mughals they were falling down? It was the Marathas who became very powerful, and in around 1740s they put a barrier. They means restriction means कुछ limitations लगाई that Rajput rulers, especially Amer and Jodhpur, cannot come beyond this boundary. The Rajput kings of Amer and Jodhpur were given permission by the Mughals to enjoy considerable autonomy in their Vatan Jagirs. Not water Jagirs, but Vatan Jagirs. Soon, these rulers began to extend their control over adjacent regions. So, now what happened? When the kings of Amer and Jodhpur were given permission to enjoy as an independent ruler in the Vatan Jagirs, they started to expand their own territory. Amer started expanding itself, and the king of Jodhpur started expanding its territory in the nearby area. Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur held the governorship of Gujarat, and Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amer was governor of Malwa. So now these two were given governorship. Governorship means the highest position according to the Mughal administration. Of one was given of Jodhpur and the other was given of Malwa, that is Amer. They also tried to extend their territories by seizing portions of imperial territories neighboring their Vatans. Nagpur was conquered and annexed to the housed of Jodhpur, while Amer seized large portions of Bundi. So now what happened? Raja of Jodhpur, he conquered the territories which belonged to the Mughals, irrespective that they were given some liberty and whatever. But he started conquering the Mughal territories, in and he conquered the large part towards the south with till Nagpur, while Raja of Amer, he sees Bundi. Bundi is in Bundi is in Rajasthan. So one was expanding towards the south, while other was expanding his territory towards the north. Even the people who showed their loyalty to the Mughal emperor, the territories were occupied by these two rulers. Seizing independence. Now what happened? When these two powers were expanding themselves, again there were certain other powers that started declaring themselves independent and also started building up their own empire, like the Sikhs. The Sikh rose as a powerful under Guru Gobind Singh, who inspired the Khalsa with the belief that their destiny was to rule. So now what happened? The Sikhs, they started becoming powerful, and under the first Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, they became he became such a big influencer. He inspired the people of the Punjab in such a manner that they formed a group called Khalsa. And he said their group Khalsa was it is their destiny means kismat, उनकी किस्मत में है राज्य करना, that is to rule. Maharaja Ajit Singh reunited the Sikhs as a powerful group and established his capital at Lahore in 1799. So now what happened? Guru Gobind Singh was inspiring the people, and they formed a Khalsa. Now what happened? Now Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he's a very famous in Indian history. He's a very famous Raja or Maharaja in the history of India, who organized, who united the Sikhs. जैसे अलग अलग टुकड़ों में होता है, तो उन्होंने सबको जोड़ा, और उन्होंने व्हाट डिड ही डू, ही मेड हिज कैपिटल एट लाहौर, विच इज नाउ इन Pakistan in the year 1799. In the 18th century, the Sikhs organized themselves into a number of bands called Jathas and later on mills. So now what happened, when Sikhs organized themselves in small bands, they called it Jatha. And when a couple of 2 or 3 Jathas combined together, it became a mill or mills. They combined forces known as the Grand Army, that is Dal Khalsa. When the mills are again mills combined and they became a great army, one great army, it was known as Dal Khalsa. Guru Gobind Singh had inspired the Khalsa with the belief that their destiny was to rule. Their well-knit organization enabled them to put up a successful resistance to the Mughal governors first, and then to Ahmad Shah Abdali, who had seized the rich province of Punjab and the Sirhind from the Mughals. The Khalsa declared their sovereign rule by striking in 1765. So now what happened is, the Khalsa, when they were so much inspired by Guru Gobind Singh, even after his death, the Sikhs, they organized themselves in such a manner, इतने अच्छी से जुड़ गए थे कि उन्होंने पहले उन मुगल गवर्नर्स को हराया, और फिर अहमद शाह अब्दाली, who had captured the province, rich province means बहुत खुशहाल, because richness in earlier times was considered by the fertility of the soil. Okay, तो जो रिच प्रोविंस पंजाब का था, सिरहिंद का था, उन्होंने मुगल से ले लिया कि तुम इसकी देखभाल नहीं कर सकते हो, देखो अहमद शाह अब्दाली आ रहा, नादिर शाह आ रहा है, तुम इसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो, तो हम इसके राजा बनेंगे, हम रूल करेंगे, हम तुमसे बेहतर रूल कर सकते हैं, हमारे पास लीडरशिप क्वालिटी है. And then in what happened in 1965, they declared the sovereign means अपना राज्य स्थापित करके उन्होंने ये बता दिया कि हाँ, पंजाब और सिरहिंद के राजा खालसाज हैं. The Sikh territories extended from the Indus to the Jamuna in the late 18th century, but they were divided under different rulers such as Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So now what happened is, here we have seen Maharaja Ranjit Singh had made his capital in Lahore. And what happened, there were different groups, Sikh groups, who extended, who had small kingdoms from Indus to river Yamuna. Yamuna is also known as Jamuna. Okay, and hence it was Maharaja Ranjit Singh who organized these different empires and built one Sikh empire. Now let us see, this was happening in the north. Now let us move to the south. Let us see what were the Marathas doing. The Maratha kingdom rose under Shivaji. After Shivaji's death, Peshwa led the Maratha empire to its zenith. So now the founder of the Maratha kingdom was Shivaji Maharaj, or Shivaji the Great. And after his death, his prime minister, that is his prime minister, who was known as Peshwa, he made the Maratha empire so powerful that it reached its highest point under his rule. Marathas collected huge revenue from taxes of church and Sardes Mukhi in the entire kingdom. So now what happened in the Deccan? The Marathas started collecting taxes from the church, that is from the Christians, and Sardes Mukhi. It is again a tax which was collected by from the entire kingdom, irrespective of caste, color, creed, whoever it was. They had to pay 9 to 10% of the income tax. Maratha chiefs included Peshwa, Sindhya, Gaikwad, and Bhosle. Their territory touched near Delhi in its peak stage. So now what are Maratha? There were many Maratha chiefs like the Peshwa, Sindhya. You might have heard the Sindhyas of Gwalior, Gaikwads of Baroda, Bhosles of Maharashtra. So these were some very powerful chiefs who became who are now known by the name of royal families in India. They and their territories were when they all combined together and made a Maratha empire, and they were such great warriors that their territory, that is their border, touched nearly Delhi. Shivaji carried out the Maratha kingdom. He built a powerful Maratha army and challenged the Mughals in the peninsula. So now Shivaji was a warrior. So what did he do? He challenged the Mughals in the peninsula. Peninsula means in the Deccan area, to beat him. But they could not. Why? Because Shivaji was a master in the guerrilla warfare of art. छुप छुप के वार करना में वो माहिर थे. After the death of Shivaji, Peshwa took control of the Maratha kingdom. Pune became its capital. So after Shivaji died, Raigad was the capital when Shivaji was alive. But after his death, it was Pune which became the capital. Between 1720 and 1761, the Maratha Empire expanded and gradually clipped away at the authority of the Mughal Empire. So now what happened? The Maratha Empire expanded so much with the power and with the money, because money was coming by collecting the taxes, and hence they crippled means काट दिया उन्होंने. जो मुगल एम्परर की अथॉरिटी थी, जहाँ कहा जाता था नहीं मुगल एम्परर का ही सिक्का चलेगा या जो मुगल एम्परर कहेगा वो सही होगा, उन्होंने मराठास ने उनका वो काट दिया, अस्तित्व काट दिया, authority. Malwa and Gujarat were seized from the Mughals by the 1720s. So now Malwa and Gujarat, these were two states which were captured by the Marathas from the Mughals in the year 1720. That is after Aurangzeb's death. By the 1730s, the Maratha king was recognized as the overlord of the entire Deccan Peninsula. So within within a span of 10 years, the Marathas became so powerful that they said that they were recognized by everybody in the Deccan area as their king, as their sovereign, as the emperor or as the king. After raiding Delhi in 1737, the frontiers of Maratha domination expanded rapidly into Rajasthan and Punjab in the north, into Bengal and Orissa in the east, and into Karnataka and Tamil and Telugu countries of the south. So now in the year 1737, the Marathas raided Delhi, and after occupying Delhi, the Maratha empires expanded from Rajasthan and Punjab in the north to Bengal and Orissa in the east, and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu in the south. That is the Tamil Nadu, the Maratha, it was the territory of the Maratha Empire. Now let us see what were the Jats doing. Jats were powerful in areas near Delhi under the leadership of Churaman. So now Jats, they had declared their independence along with the Awadh, Bengal and Marathas. There was a very able leader named as Churaman. He organized the Jats, and under his leadership, the Jats rose to a great power. They were prosperous agriculturalists. So now these Jats were basically prosperous farmers because they were doing farming. So they became very prosperous, and and the main occupation was agriculture. They were not soldiers or warriors by birth, but they were agriculturalists. Under Mal, the kingdom of Bharatpur emerged as a strong state. So now Churamal was a leader. Churamal organized the Jats, and then under Mal, the kingdom of Bharatpur became a very strong state, became a very strong kingdom. If we should say kingdom, and this was why, because they had declared themselves independent from the Mughal Empire. Yeah. Jats even built a garden palace at Dig. So now they built a palace which was surrounded by the gardens, and the place was Dig. The Jats consolidated their power during the late 17th and 18th century. Under their leader Churaman, they acquired control over territories situated to the west of the city of Delhi, that is Rohtak and Farida, Gurugram, Gurgaon, and Faridabad. So these were the areas that they had occupied. Present day I'm talking about. Otherwise, these cities or these places did not exist during that time. Maybe they were small villages or whatever. And by the 1680s, they had begun dominating the region between the two imperial cities of Delhi and Agra. So now, what happened in 1680s? The Jats, they had occupied a large portion of Delhi, large parts between Delhi and Agra, and controlled them and declared that area to be their own kingdom. Hope you have understood the chapter. See you next in the next video. Take care. Stay home. Stay safe.